You were tuned in to episode 19 of Throw the Hook podcast. It's your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. I got my dog with me, Ty Finney, the legend, aka In This Corner podcast. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Nice fight we had yesterday, man. Nice stoppage. Figueroa. Nick Ball, and I appreciate you coming through. Yesterday, fresh off interview 36, man. So appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you throw the link for the interview in the chat too.
All right.
For everybody to tap in. And of course, I got everybody's favorite OG in the building, man. Boxing First vlog. What is going on, good brother?
Peace to everybody. I'm here for the huddle again, man. Let's run the play.
Absolutely. And before we even get started, man, I gotta give my dog a shout out, man. Jay Will in the building, man. Said, let's go. Said, what up, fellas? He said, I did not see Ball getting slept. Surprised me. Surprised me too, man. A big shout out to Jay Will, man. This dude was in here 10 minutes before the show started, man. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Jay Will. My guy Bruce Gas up in the building, man. He said, what's up, guys? Big shout out to you, Bruce, man. Hey, Bruce, do me a favor. If you watched the fight yesterday, can you tell me what your scorecard was going into the 12th round? Because that's going to be a topic on this show for sure. But for the people that didn't watch yesterday, Boxing First vlog and myself, we were live watching this actual main event. It was hella fun doing that. We haven't done that in a very long time. I think the last time we did that was actually the Ryan Garcia fight a couple years ago against your boy. I think that was the last time we actually did a live joint and scoring it. So it was a while, so we had fun doing it, man. Brandon Figueroa, 12th round knockout over Nick Ball. And vlog, I'm gonna start with you, man. Like, give us, I know, and it's for the people that didn't watch the live yesterday. Just give us your thoughts on the fight and how you felt Brandon Figueroa did, and just the ebb and flow of a championship fight.
It was a fight of wills. That's what we anticipated because, like you stated a week or so back, like who's going to be going backwards. Like that was first on your radar. And for me, I also had to agree with that. It was going to be who style could overcome. And obviously, what we was watching, it just seemed like Figueroa he did what he wanted to do despite having a little bit of bumps and stumbles in the road because he got touched a little bit, nothing real damaging, but it was a nice fight. I agree, it was a nice fight. It was dirty, the way they do over there. It started off rusty. It started off like I couldn't do 12 rounds of what we saw on 1 and 2, but it came together late. You know what I mean?
It was a rusty nail vlog.
Yeah, it was rusty at first. It was like they fought, or Ball was fighting as if he had never even warmed up. It was like, oh man, I gotta fight. What, y'all putting gloves on me? Like, like he was kind of, flustered a little bit earlier in there. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
It came around though. It turned out to be a great fight.
Yeah, it was a really good fight, man. Legend, what did you think of the fight?
Yeah, I caught the second half, but I was real impressed with Brandon Figueroa, man. Like the guy, he can mix it up. He's the guy that likes to get on the inside. But from what I noticed, he was standing on the outside, using his jab a bit. But when he was getting Nick Ball to the ropes, that's when he was letting off a flurry of punches. Nice combinations. But man, that 12th round, wow, left hook, Nick Ball fell face down. I was surprised he even got up from that. He got up from that. Brandon Figueroa finished the job, knocked him through the ropes. So hats off to Brandon Figueroa. Like Nick Ball, he did his thing too. He was landing his shots as well. But I think the height difference, really played a big part in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, hats off to Brandon Figueroa. I was wrong in my prediction, but I was basing their performance or the last few fights. I was just thinking about Brandon Figueroa, his performance against Fortin in the region. Everybody can have an off night. But, the way he performed yesterday was superb, man. Hats off to him, man. Like, hats off to, Brandon Figueroa and the team for sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I picked Nick Ball to win the fight because I didn't think Figueroa was gonna show up. He proved me wrong. You usually under normal circumstances, I would pick the taller fighter, but because Brandon Figueroa usually doesn't use his height to his advantage, and the fact that he's coming in kind of cold, yeah, I thought Nick Ball was going to pull it off, man. But I was wrong as well. Bruce Gas, he said I had Ball ahead, especially fighting at home. Big upset in my books. I would love to know what your score was, Bruce Gas. I had it 7-4 going into the 12th for Figueroa, and Vlog had it 8-3 for Figueroa going into the 12th. So I would like to hear how you actually had it scored.
Can I say this real quick?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to watch that fight based on the Kelly Bachram fight, and mainly the judges over there. And what I could say from the couple of scorecards I saw, they had it right. I'm not going to fraud them. They were calling that fight pretty much the way we were seeing it. A little bit difference in a round or two from how I had it, but close enough going into the 12th that the right man was going to get the decision if it actually went them last 3 minutes. So I salute the judges.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know what that is, but big shout out to you. Wax Dominion, Wax Dominion. Big shout out to you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Boxing First Vlog and in this corner podcast. You subscribe to us, we're gonna subscribe to you. Show the love right back. Said they would have cheated if he didn't get the knockout. That's a great segue into this. Great segue. So just like Vlog said, he's seen a couple scorecards and it looked like Figueroa was going to pull through. So I actually want to highlight that. So two of the scorecards actually resemble Vlog and I scorecard live. One of the judges had it, I think, 7 rounds to 4 going into the 12th. I think the other judge had it 8 rounds to 3 for Figueroa going into the 12th. Now, there was one bad apple in the batch. There was another judge that had it 8 rounds to 3 for Nick Ball going into the 12th. Yeah, they had Nick Ball up 8 rounds to 3 going into the 12th. And
hey, who is that? His uncle?
I don't know. I went to check it. I went to check his last name too, see if they was related. But yeah, they had it 8-3 for Nick Ball. So even without the knockout, it looked like if it went to decision that Brandon Figueroa was going to actually get a decision. I guess it would have been a split decision. It would have been a split. It'd have been a split decision victory for Brandon Figueroa, but the knockout was so much nicer. Oh, the knockout was so much nicer, man. Like it was an amazing knockout. Hey, Legend, is this the link for the
Yep.
interview?
That's it.
Yeah. So let me put a star on that. That's the link for the interview that Ty Finney, the Legend, just did with Sugar Sheed. You know what I'm saying? Light heavyweight from out of DC, man.
Yes, sir.
Coin
Good team.
Sniper. Go ahead, say it again, bro.
Yeah, good. Good team. Got a headbangers. Got Barry Hunter in his corner, so I think he got some good things in store. For his future for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you get a chance, definitely go check that out. Coin Sniper 3429. Big shout out to you. Actually, you was in an interview too yesterday. Big shout out to you. He said, anytime you're the B fighter in the A fighter territory and you go to the decision, expect to be defeated, you must score the knockout. Yeah, I mean that's the mentality you have to have these days when you're going in the enemy territory, man. Because it's going to be some slim shady stuff going on, But it looked like the judges was on the up and up. Two of the three judges was on the up and up in that fight, and if you didn't watch the fight, actually I put a clip up of the reaction when he got knocked down and knocked out. When he got knocked down and knocked out, we put a clip up, which I thought was dope. And it was unexpected, man. But I'm glad it happened. But I actually want to get to um, Brandon Figueroa's trainer, Manny Robles, one of the best trainers in the game. He's been a part of a lot of upset victories. He's been in the corner of a lot of underdogs that got big upset victories. Manny Robles was actually in the corner with Andy Ruiz when he beat Anthony Joshua in New York City. And I actually want to play a clip, and I'm very curious to get Vlog's reaction because I don't know if he's seen it yet.
Mm-mm.
So hold on, let me see.
Why you finding that? I just want to add, like, Figueroa, like, his style. If I was a fighter, I would not want to fight Brandon Figueroa, man. His style is just like he like he's got that style, like he kind of bullies you against the rope. Like his style would make me uncomfortable. Like, and we seen that in the first fight with Stephen Fortin. Like he just got a style that would make me uncomfortable, man. So I think, yeah, his style is good. Like I said, with his height and everything, he reminds me of Fundora in a sense, but I think he is definitely one of the fighters that's willing to duke it out with you too, even though he's a tall fighter. Like he's definitely willing to duke it out with you, but he's one guy I would not want to be in with.
He kind of reminds me of he's an interesting fighter because when he's on his game like he was yesterday, he's tall for the weight. He's imposing because he can throw with both hands, and his whole agenda is to back you up. It's the style that Vlog likes, backing a guy up, active, coming forward, making the fight. So it makes, like, if you beat Brandon Figueroa, you really gotta be physically and mentally tough to get past Brandon Figueroa because he's an imposing figure for those 126 pounders. Go ahead, Vlog.
I slept on it. Hold on, man.
Go ahead. All right, so I'm gonna share this screen real quick. So let me go here.
Yeah, but that was a beautiful hook, man. That drop, Nick Ball, that was
Yeah,
beautiful, man.
yeah,
That
it was
hook had me jump out my seat, man.
you seen my reaction. I was like,
Yes,
whoa.
yeah, I
I
jumped out
was
my
like,
seat like, woo.
I
It's
was
like,
like, whoa. I was like,
yes,
wow.
sir, yes, sir.
Uh,
That was a nice knockout, man. My
yeah.
damn.
Um, Vlog,
Now,
you
what
back,
was you
bro?
saying? Yeah,
Vlog, you
yeah,
back, bro? Okay.
yeah. I'm back.
All right. I'm about to play this real quick.
We weren't there to watch
Hold on a second. Here we go.
it, and we these type of things are discussed prior to the fight. They're actually at the fighters meeting, and this was discussed. I want to watch your hand. I want to watch you, your team, wrap your hands, and you can do the same. I mean, not to the fighter, but to the coach. And then we all agreed that we came to an agreement, and the commission was there, the British Commission was there, and the WBA inspector was there, so we all agreed. But they went ahead and wrapped his hands anyway. So when I came in, he had his hands wrapped already. Well, oh, he wrapped his hands. Well, what do you mean? We weren't present. They wrapped his hands, and
Hold on. The his
oh,
part
well,
two.
you're late. Oh, well, you're late. Just started looking for excuses, and it's just unfair. It's not fair play. So I said, well, since we weren't there to watch his hand wraps, I don't want them in my locker room to watch, my fighter get his hands wrapped. I mean, we have the commission. That's all we need. Anyway, we got in an argument there, and I guess I won the battle because they weren't permitted to be in my locker room to watch the hand wrapping.
Um, real quick. Let me get in the comment section really quick. So Wax said he's similar to Emmanuel Navarrete. That's a good comparison. Nino, big shout out to you, Nino. He said let Brandon celebrate their win. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Bull, what's going on? What you said? Disgusting UK behavior. Vlog, I'm gonna give you the floor. And let you go ahead and cook.
That's beyond petty. That is not his focus. If you want to talk about hand wraps and who was who and all of that, as he said out his own mouth, it really didn't matter whether they was in there or not, as long as the commission was represented while the hands was being wrapped. So he annihilated his own disgusting attempt to deflect from his dude not being trained and having a proper game plan.
Bro, you know that was Figueroa's trainer that was speaking.
Oh, I thought you were saying that when he was in the corner ball.
No, that was Figueroa's trainer. He was saying that Nick Ball and his team, they agreed. The other corner should be watching the hand wraps. They should be watching.
Again, it's minute to the victory, bro. He should have been, to me, talking about all that cheating. He should have been talking
about. He has another video with that too. He's talking about the ref and all that.
Yeah, that's more important. I would have never brought up the hand wrap situation because, again, you killed your own argument.
A vlog, but that is nasty work though. If you want the road, because we're looking at it hindsight because he got the victory. But that's still nasty work though. That's still nasty work.
It's nasty work if it didn't work out in your favor.
No, but that's why I said it doesn't matter what the result is. If you win a championship fight, it don't matter if you're at home or on the road. If everybody agreed that you're supposed to watch the other person's hand wraps, that's supposed to go down. Because if that situation hold on, real quick, if that situation didn't happen, right? Shane Mosley doesn't catch Antonio Margarito. He doesn't catch him. The commission was in the room when that happened.
Wow.
Commission was in the room when that happened.
Wow. I didn't know that part.
That's still nasty work.
Wow. So the commission didn't catch that?
No, the commission didn't say nothing.
Wow.
The commission didn't say anything.
They didn't say nothing to Fury with the glove situation either. So, you know what I mean?
But that goes to my point though. You gotta have somebody
now understanding more. I get it based on the totality of how they was moving on the other side. Just everything that happened with them. I agree with it now. He has a point. But at the same time, as long as there was some sense of representation in there, whether they were on the up and up with the representation based on the commission or not, they still technically were playing by the rules of the sport. So I get it. As a gentleman's situation, but as you can see, they fight style. They're not gentlemen. They wasn't fight. They didn't. The very first round, bro. That's the type of stuff that happens when you kind of getting tired, or you know what I mean. It was too early for you to be doing that. Whoa. So they hold the way they was moving over there, cemented what he's saying. Like what he's saying kind of caps the dirty boxing, kind of caps just the way the crowd reacted. Mm-hmm. All of that kind of is a big gumbo of nonsense over there in Liverpool. So I get it now. My bad. I was on the left foot. I should have been on the right foot. You know what I mean?
No, well, I should have presented the whole thing to you before I asked you to comment. But yeah, I think the point that Robles was trying to make was that they were nasty throughout the whole thing. And I want to add this too. He also said in a separate video, which I don't have, but I will send it to you after the show. He said they was an hour late for the weigh-in.
I told you, dude, he looked big for 126, bro. A lot of them dudes at 126 is looking like 140s. Just on body type and
they said he made now Nick Ball obviously made weight, but usually when you come in an hour late for a weigh-in, you probably made weight at the last possible second.
That's my point. That is my point.
So they
were using every minute.
Nasty. Yeah, they were moving nasty with that. And this is pending everything Robles is saying is true. I don't take everybody at face value, but I wouldn't see why he would lie about this after winning the title. I can see if they lost and he said it, but he said it after winning the title just to highlight the point. So that's nasty work though. But see, this is why fighters don't like going on the road because of
Man.
nonsense like this.
Yeah,
You
that's but they move like that over there, bro. You
That's
could
nasty.
see the crowd reaction was an exclamation point of the vibe for the
That's
away
nasty.
team. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It
nasty.
wasn't welcoming. It wasn't congratulatory at the end. It was like, bro, like he did
No,
something wrong. It's
no
like, what
class.
he,
No
yeah, like,
class.
bro. So obviously the camp, the ball camp, that was spread out their community and throughout the whole arena.
And let me add this too before we keep it moving, because I'm throwing this information for the people that's listening. I'm throwing this information in vlog and legend because I'm not sure if they're aware of the information post fight. So it's also a rumor that uh Andrew Kane that fought on the undercard, he actually kicked one of the members of Figueroa's team after the loss. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, that goes right along with the nasty work that we've been hearing about after the fight. But you know, Kane is a part of Nick Ball's camp, and he fought on the card earlier in the evening. So if all of that is true, that's some real nasty work, and you don't want to see that when you have a big card like that. When you would like to see things on the up and up for no other reason to have more events like that and have more fighters willing to go on the road and hope they can get some type of a fair shake. So that's the only reason I wanted to bring that stuff up. But that's nasty. Nino said they threw food and bottles in the center of the ring. That's what we talking about, bro. Like just classless. And I don't care who it was that got the victory, man. Like, you know, the better man won. They went 12, they went 11 plus rounds, they went at it, and Brandon Figueroa was the better man. Like, if you throwing food and bottles, I get it. You lost your bet. You probably bet some rent money on Nick Ball and you lost. You know what I'm saying?
He
Go
didn't
ahead.
even if they did that, they don't know how to wager because he had no value as a heavy favorite the way he was. He was like minus 650. There's no way in the world I'm putting minus 650 on a dude that really hasn't been tested against a vet of that caliber.
Well, you know they don't think like that. They gonna ride or die with their man, no matter what the number is. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they made their city look bad. You know what I mean? They made their
Yeah, that
city
was a
look
bad look.
bad.
That was a
Hey,
bad
So,
look. People, go ahead, go
hey,
ahead, legend. Go ahead, legend.
I just want to add, I know that this is similar in a sense, but it happened in Nevada. Floyd was always on top of that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, it was Victor Ortiz. You know, they were backstage while Victor Ortiz was getting his hand wraps, where Leonard Ellerby was, and they had already wrapped his hands, and Ellerby was like, I didn't see him get his hand wrapped. And I guess Victor Ortiz's trainer was trying to fuss about that. So then they took the wraps back off and redid him while he was in there. And of course, you know, Floyd and Marcus Madonna, you know, Floyd was tripping when Madonna had those gloves on. He was like, hell no, we ain't fighting in these gloves. He said,
Yeah.
hell no, we're not taking that fight. So I know Floyd and his team was really on top of that stuff.
Well, that's why, and that's a good statement, but that's why I wanted to mention those things because there are rules and regulations that are outside of the ring pre-fight. You know, picking of the gloves, what are acceptable gloves? You know, you got 8-ounce gloves. Once you get to 154, they are 10-ounce gloves. We can really get into the technical stuff as far as that, but that's why this A side, B side thing is so crazy. And to be honest with you, Floyd Mayweather is part to blame for this A side, B side thing. Like they really took it to another level, you know. But yeah, like if you're fighting in a championship fight, and this goes to both parties, the champion and the challenger, it is in your best interest to not trust the commission by themselves. You should have somebody on your team viewing them hands getting wrapped because you don't know what the intellect and the intelligence is of the commission. You don't know if they in the champion's back pocket. You don't know if they in the manager's back pocket. You just don't know. I trust one set of eyes, and that's mine. You know what I'm saying? So you have to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. in a situation like that, man. But it's yeah, it's been some classic situations. I feel like if more trainers actually watch the opponent's hand wraps, you won't have some of these historic cheating scandals.
Yeah,
You
and to
know,
top that off, man. That's why, and both of you guys was in the chat when I interviewed the female fighter that was in bare knuckle. Like that's why she said she liked being in bare knuckle. It was so much easier to get fights because she said when it's boxing, it's so many rules, it's so many politics, you know. So she said bare knuckle is just you can get a fight just like that, but boxing it's so many rules. It's harder to get fights, you know. Like you said, A side, B side stuff. So yeah, that
yeah,
sucked. Like I do, man. I blame Floyd for that. Floyd was always, hey, we the A side. Now a lot of teams are running with that.
yeah. Floyd brought a lot of positivity to the sport and a lot of eyes to the sport, but he did a little bit of damage too. You know what I mean, for sure. But Bull said hand wraps is a major issue. What you talking about? My man cleaned it up, man. He said he was on the right foot, should have been on the left, man. Yeah, I mean. Jay Will said Nick Ball against TJ kicked him and the referee didn't take a point. Yeah, yeah. Nick Ball has been he a dirty fighter. Like Nick Ball is a dirty fighter. And Manny Robles has another video out where he's talking about the referee and all of the things that the referee was allowing him to do and was not reprimanding him. And Robles said that he knew going into the fight that Brandon Figueroa was going to have to go through some fire, as far as like, the officiating and things like that. But he felt like it was extreme. And during the actual live coverage of the fight, Vlog and myself, we were talking about that since when we went live. What was it, like beginning of round 2, Vlog? It's like beginning of round 2. Yeah, like we was complaining about the referee from round 2 on. Like it didn't stop. Like I think we went through each round and we like either Vlog or myself said something about the ref. Like every round. Like if fighters are on the up and up and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, we shouldn't even be mentioning the ref. So Nick Ball was fighting nasty. I mean, elbows, trying to muscle him, all types of stuff, bro.
Yeah.
You know what fight? You know what fight we didn't see the ref in and was an excellent fight in its own right? Shushu Castro. I don't even remember what the ref what his race was. Is how insignificant he was in that fight. That is how you're supposed to have a world title fight. Not that soccer brawl that Nick Ball and them came in there with. Yeah. Like the man literally was bull rushing to get himself out the corner, not boxing to get out the corner, not boxing to get off the rope, ducking his shoulder and trying to lift Figueroa up off the ground and drag and push him out the corner. And he did it. And the ref never admonished him on any of those tactics. Once or twice he said something about pulling the head and hitting. I think he said once. Never went back to it. I mean, there should no way in the world that fight should not have been stopped and he should not have been admonished and really taken to his corner and had the corner admonished too because they're doing too much of it. It wasn't like he was using it to get out of trouble. Like, okay, I got to grab him and pull him down or something because I'm about to be hurt or something like that, which we kind of seen over some time in boxing where fighters know I'm stung. I got to do something wild, grab him by the waist, falling around, tackling them, all of that kind of type of stuff. But this was purposeful. This was, oh my God, my game plan is trash. I have nothing else to rely on but being physical.
I agree, bro. I agree. Nick Ball fought dirty, like real dirty, but he has a track record of fighting dirty. And I don't know if it's that short people complex or whatever, but he fought real dirty in that fight, man. And the referee did a horrible job, man. Wax said, I seen a fight where they let Ball kick the other fighter and didn't get disqualified. Yeah, that was against TJ. The previous person mentioned that as well, Bull. Bull said Nick Ball stormed out the ring. Yeah, he didn't even initially stay in there. You know what I'm saying? Wax
hold up. Did he storm out the ring or did he slow walk it? Because he was still on wobbly legs. Man, did you see how he was bouncing off that last rope, bro? That shit
Yeah,
was cold.
he was drunk, bro. He was drunk for sure. Um, Wax said he did. I seen it on the replay. No, for sure, definitely. Uh, Malaza, big shout out to you, family. Queensberry, with Frank Warren control everything over there. Yeah, that's all well and good, man. But I'm like, that messes up future business. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be able to get big fights with a UK guy and a guy from the US if y'all moving Slim Shady like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for the people that's in here, man, please subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to Boxing First Vlog. Please subscribe to In This Corner podcast, man.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to all three. If you subscribe to us, we're gonna subscribe to you.
Yeah,
Show the love
Wax
right back.
yeah, he subscribed to. So like, salute to him, man. Wax yeah, it just came across my phone. So yeah, appreciate
Big
you,
shout
brother.
out. Big shout out. Bull said trying to punch him in a headlock. He said Malaza said that's always been Bull's tactics. Yeah, I Bull like that's yeah. I'm like people gonna get you gonna have your dirty fighters, but some stuff is like extreme. Like and some of that stuff Bull was doing yesterday was just extreme, man. Like I'm like okay, I might see a forearm here and there or whatever, like push a guy, whatever. Like I'm okay with that, but some of that stuff Ball was doing was just crazy. Like it was absolutely crazy.
Now, does that mean he cheeks?
Does it mean that he's cheeks?
Yeah,
Um, I'm not going to say he's cheeks, but he has cheeks as far as sportsmanship. His sportsmanship is cheeks.
he cheeks as far as a fighter, bro. He got exposed yesterday. He got exposed, bro.
Yeah, and Nick Ball. Only reason I'm gonna say Nick Ball is not cheeks is because he's beating some solid fighters on the road to the championship.
Yeah,
Because he fought well against Raymond Ford too. So I'm not
yeah,
gonna say that he's cheeks, but he
I
did get
agree.
exposed yesterday.
I think it's just frustration, man. I think when you get frustrated, you just start looking for other ways. We seen this. Take Zab Judah, and Floyd. That was nasty work by Zab Judah, low blow and then hitting him on back of the head.
Good point.
So
Good point.
I think it's just frustration, man. You do anything out of frustration.
But frustration in the first round, bro. From the first round to the knockout, the whole fight you were frustrated.
Yeah, I
thought frustration was a development. Like, okay, what I'm doing is not working. He literally came out with no game plan. That garbage ass lead uppercut he was throwing was super trash. That has got to be one of the dumbest punches in boxing because you're not getting any torque on it. You're not able to put any, like I'm saying, torque on it to get any result from it. So why throw it? It looks flashy. It looks like you're doing something like the Superman punch that they throw in the MMA. It looks cool, but if it don't land, it's trash. So dude is cheeks, man. Dude's 100% baloney. He Oscar Mayer baloney.
Yeah, I think he got exposed yesterday for sure. Bad matchup for him, and tried every trick in the book and it didn't work. Bottom line. John, what's going on, man? Say salute, man. Big shout out to you. Salute J. Will. Let me see. Malaza said the Kane fight was dirty too. I caught the Kane fight this morning. That Kane fight was dirty work too. But Kane is in the same camp as Nick Ball, so that might be something that they be, they be doing in camp. Them dirty tactics. You know what I'm saying? Malaza said UK used the Mexican American boxers as stepping stones, always being like that. That is why I don't like my favorite boxers going over there. Yeah, it's the thing is with that, bro, is for US guys to go over to the UK, man, like obviously they're going over there for money. And in some situations, they may not have no other choice, or that might be like their biggest payday. But when you have situations like that, it stops the motion of the sport of boxing. You don't want none of this grimy stuff going on because it messes up future major events, major cards, major matchups. Like UK has a great fan base, but you got nonsense like this that makes people not want to come to the UK. But at the same time, the US be on some nonsense too. Like I hate to say it, but Dalton Smith, he fought through it, against Subriel Matias, but for Subriel to pop dirty and he still was allowed to fight and defend his championship, that's nasty work too. So it goes both ways. That's nasty work as well. You know what I mean? But we just got to clean that up, man, because at the end of the day, we want to get to the paper. We want to see the best matchups, and home field advantage. Yeah, but
Let
everything
me
up and up.
let me ask you this: between what we seen from the crowd, what we seen from that camp, and what we seen in a week back from the judging, do you still want the possible Kelly in this fight over there?
Hold off on that because I actually want to get into that, but I want to add something to that. Remind me of that in a couple minutes. We're gonna get into that too, because that was my other topic I wanted to get into as well. Jay Will said Street Fighter uppercut. You ain't never lied, bro. You ain't never lied. Like
That's
that
trash.
He throw that uppercut like his elbow broke. A legend, he be like this. He be like this. That uppercut is cheeks, bro. That uppercut is cheeks for sure. I don't think he's cheeks as a fighter, but that uppercut is cheeks for sure. Jay Will said, in a way, lost that opportunity at ball. Now, if he is going to move up, some big champions waiting. Yeah, Jay Will, we was getting into that yesterday too, man. Like it's deep waters. It's deep waters at 26, man. It's deep waters. And the thing is, Brandon Figueroa is physically, you could tell he's physically more solid than Inoue. You know what I'm saying? So Brandon Figueroa did a great job of handling all of those dirty tactics. It'd have been interesting to see how Inoue would have handled it. Even though I think if Inoue would have fought Ball, I think whoever the referee was probably would have took some points away from Ball because of Inoue's, popularity and all that. Brandon Figueroa is just, what I'm saying, like he's just a,
First
really
of all,
fighter.
first of all, that fight would have never went down in Liverpool. he would have been on the road.
I agree, 100%. So he wouldn't have got away with all that stuff. Not Inoue's backyard. He probably got DQ'd out there, like for sure. He probably definitely got DQ'd. Malaza said Manny Robles trained Figueroa for Nick Ball. Manny Robles is one of the top trainers. Yeah, he's one of the top trainers in the sport, man. He's a no nonsense guy. He tell it exactly like it is. He says you're a fool. Bye.
I think he might be talking about Jay Wills about the Street Fighter uppercut, I guess.
Oh, Street Fighter.
Yeah, I think it's missing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo. Smooth Life. He said, what's up? Drop the link. I don't know if I'm dropping you a link, bro. You ain't responding to me on the gram, man. I'm kind of disappointed in you, bro. We supposed to rap. I had some info for you, but I'll probably shoot it to you though. Big shout out to you. Hey, Malaza, I gotta show you something real quick, bro. I gotta show you the uppercut. Yo, that joint cheeks, bro. That joint is cheeks. So, hey, vlog. So, I want to address what you stated as far as the treatment the UK gave to Brandon Figueroa and his team. Do I feel like that Boots Ennis or another American fighter should go out there to the UK to go get that? My answer is still yes. Number one, I think with Eddie Hearn, I think it's going to be a little bit different because Eddie Hearn controls both parties. So I think a lot of that stuff that was going on in this fight, I don't think Eddie Hearn is really going for that. He's also invested in Boots, so he's going to definitely make sure things is on the up and up because even though Boots is going out to the UK, according to Eddie Hearn, if you look at it from Eddie Hearn perspective, Boots is the house fighter, even though he's going on the road. So I don't think Boots will have to go through some of that stuff that that Brandon Figueroa went through. And the bottom line is Josh Kelly ain't gonna make it out of there alive anyway. They can treat Boots however they want to treat him. He's not gonna make it out of there alive. He's not gonna make it past 7 rounds dealing with Boots. He's not gonna be able to deal with him at all. You know what I'm saying? But how you feeling about it, bro?
I think it's a bigger fight over here. I don't think it's a big fight over there. I don't think old boy got the cachet like that. It might.
Who don't have the cachet?
Kelly. You think that turnout? Yeah, you think he I thought that was a kind of a small arena. That was really like in his backyard. So like I'm talking about somewhere like the O2 or something on that level.
You remember we talked about that with Shane, and of course we're gonna refer to Shane because he's actually out there. But he said they got a 45-50 seat stadium that they should fill out pretty easily. That's close to Josh Kelly. So I mean, as long as that's that's
what I mean. I think if you're gonna do it, then you should give it more of a neutral site than so close to his quote unquote stomping grounds. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what's neutral to wherever he's at because I don't know the lay of the land like that. But
right,
you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do it like they just did for Bachram. Bachram literally that was supposedly was his backyard. So I forget what city that was in, but I wouldn't do it like that. Newcastle. I think it was Newcastle.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I wouldn't do it like that.
And with that being said, Bachram still should have got the dub. With all that being said,
at a minimum, get the draw. At a minimum, I thought he earned the draw. But I still had him winning by 1 round. I had him winning the 12.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, like, they said somebody scored a 10-10 for the 12th round, which is nasty work. Nasty.
I've been kind of fading off of that. Y'all kind of got me to fade off them 10-10 rounds. So I didn't even put that in my concept of judging that fight. I was literally trying to give it one way or another.
Yeah, the thing about the 10-10 rounds is I feel like if you have a high level of boxing knowledge and you know what you're looking at, I don't think there's any round where both guys did the exact same work to where you can't determine who won the round. I feel like there's always something you can point out, even if you're being biased. There's something you can point out to make it a 10-9. I don't think I've ever scored a 10-10. I don't think I've ever watched a round and I was like, damn, I just can't figure out who won the round. The only time you see that, bro, is maybe round 1 of a fight where just nobody's doing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in a situation like that, then yeah. Let me see. Smooth Life said, bro, my bad. I swear I didn't see your message. I was just joking with you, bro. I was just joking. He said Boots. I don't know if he fighting Kelly though. Kelly is ducking. So Kelly is definitely in the news.
Calling out everybody.
He's definitely he's calling out Xander Zayas. He's calling out Conor Ben. He's calling out everybody but Boots. But the thing is, I think somebody needs to remind him that he's contractually obligated to fight Boots next, because that was the premise of him fighting Bachram. That's why it wasn't a rematch clause for Bachram in that fight with Kelly. That's why Bachram turned. He didn't want the rematch because he knew if he won, he was going to get a big money fight with Boots. He didn't want no rematch clause. And that was the premise of that fight. So the fact that Josh Kelly is calling out Conor Ben and calling out Xander Zayas, we see what's going on. We see what's going on for sure. But it's up to Eddie Hearn and them to enforce that because it's contractually obligated. Ain't even no argument. If he don't want to fight Boots, he need to drop the belt. Simple as that. We ain't gonna argue about it. Simple as that. If you don't want to fight Boots, you contractually obligated, you can drop the belt. Real simple.
Wouldn't that be on the Boxing Association? Who is that? The WBA? Oh no, IBF. No, that's IBF, right?
IBF, yes, sir.
Oh yeah, they enforce they regulations.
They enforce that. Yeah, they're the strictest one out the 4.
Yeah,
they're the strictest one out the 4 by far. Yeah. Smooth Life said 10,000 seat arena.
At Newcastle, that
He
one
said
they was
y'all
just
not.
at.
He said y'all not keeping up with the news. Are you talking about the Bakram fight was only 10,000?
That's
If
why I
the
said it
yeah,
looked like a big place.
yeah, I mean, if they listen, if Bakram fought somewhere and it was only 10,000 seats, I mean, to be honest, that sound like one of them situations, bro, where they didn't know what Josh Kelly was gonna do, maybe, or maybe that was the cheapest arena they could book. You know what I'm saying? Because Josh Kelly got some juice in the UK. He got some juice. Like, I wouldn't disrespect him like that to put him in a 10,000 seat arena. I think he's gonna fill out more than that. But
I was saying that arena did not look that deep. It was dark, so it made it look like it was probably more packed than it actually was, because that was a pretty dark arena. It wasn't lit like how we be seeing Vegas
hey,
and how the Barclays is lit.
hey,
That shit,
Vlog,
yeah.
you got your tablet on you. Can you look up and see what was the seat capacity for Bakram and Kelly, if you don't mind, brother?
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. Let's check into that. Bull said ref didn't count the other knockdown. No, he definitely didn't count the other knockdown. Bakram did get a second knockdown in that fight, and it wasn't called. So the thing is with Bakram, they disputed the actual decision because of the 10-10 round. They should have disputed the decision because they didn't get a knockdown score. Bakram should have had 2 knockdowns in that fight, possibly 3.
I agree with
Possibly
that.
3.
That's what I said. Yeah, I said, man, that body shot and Kelly going into the rope and then falling down, that should have been a knockdown. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like if the ref didn't see that or what. But
Kelly got away. Kelly got away with a couple of them for sure. And I like Kelly. But I got to call it down the middle. You could have easily had Bakram down for 3 knockdowns. Let me see. Allah, what's going on, man? Big shout out to you. He's in Israel right now. Are you talking about Kelly? Who you talking about? Jay Will, he said, I still hope we get Boots Virgil this year. Bro, at this point, bro, I'd rather see Boots get the title fight, bro. I'd rather see Boots get Josh Kelly and get the title fight.
As I said, it did not look like it was a very big arena, only 11,000. So, old boy was correct. His number assessment. Maybe he from over there, but like I said, the way they had it darkened and as loud as the crowd was, it made it seem like the place was bigger.
Yeah, that was that's
so that was great. That was great production.
Yeah, remember that's so Smooth Life. That's Lennar from remember young kid used to jump on the Goodfellas podcast back in the day, and he used to defend Spence all the time. That's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
Oh, okay.
In the comment section, yeah. Michael Johnson boxing said, "What it do, man? Big shout out to Michael Johnson boxing, man. Big shout out to you, bro. I ain't talked to you in a minute, man. We gotta wrap, bro." Boxing Learner in the building, man. Says salute, y'all. Boxing Learners, always good to see you, bro. Always good to see you. Smooth Life. He said, yes, it was 10K, but if it was fought in the UK, it would have been like 40 to 50 with Boots. That's what Shane was saying. Shane was saying like they're gonna do like 40, 50 with Boots, but I still don't understand the 10K arena thing. Like I don't get that. But
maybe it wasn't a lot of money put up for that fight. Bakram isn't the most acclaiming champion. He's not.
You know what? Quick question, bro. If you can look this up too, because Eddie Hearn won the purse bid. What was the bid that he won with? Like, how much did he actually bid on this to win it? Because he wasn't promoting neither guy going into the fight. He wasn't promoting Kelly or Bakram.
Yep. He sat in the back. Matter of fact, for the fight.
So actually, he was in New York for that fight.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was in the back dressing room the way it was looking. But
he was in New York. He was in the locker room at Madison Square Garden because that was that fight happened the same day as the Shakur fight. So if you can find out what he won the purse bid with, that'll tell us a lot. In regards to he might have won it for a low amount. Boxing Learner, will Bakram get a rematch? Um, Boxing Learner, Bakram didn't have a rematch clause in the contract because Eddie Hearn won the purse bid. So he basically set it on his terms. So it wasn't a rematch clause. And basically the winner had to fight Boots. That was the stipulation for that fight. And they both signed it. So I don't know if Bakram gets a rematch. Um, I got a real feeling like Josh Kelly might drop this belt, bro, to try to avoid Boots. If the fight happens, I'll be surprised, man. He said,
Damn. They saying that fight wasn't even. It was had the same value as the Martalata fight at 666,000.
he won the bid with 666,000. Wow. Which, and I think with the IBF,
and look, this how it got split with the winner getting 85%.
I thought the champion got 85.
That's the winner.
Yeah. The champion get the lion's share of it. Yeah. So, that's interesting. Smooth Life.
Because maybe because it was so low, like you know what I'm saying. That they to make the fight, you had to give the winner a heavy favorite as far as earnings.
Because I thought with the IBF, I thought it was 75-25 for the champion on a purse bid.
Well, that's saying I'm just saying they're saying it's similar with the bid for this fight because it didn't give that actual number. It just said it was similar to the Martalayev Kelly fight.
Yeah, so that's so usually with the IBF, any purse bid, they'll usually it's either 70% or 75% goes to the champion, the other amount goes towards the challenger, but that's still a low amount. Smooth Life said no, hell no. He stepped on his foot. That wasn't a knockdown. Smooth Life, which one though? Because it was two different ones where you could have called them knockdowns.
The one I know which one he talking about. He did step on his foot on the one, so I get that.
I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about the other.
But the one where he fell out, the ropes held him up. That was a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. Yeah,
but I don't know how they score that over there. Do they score the ropes holding you up?
No, that's the same rule everywhere. That's a universal rule. Yeah, if the rope's holding you up, you gotta. Yeah, that's an 8 count. That's an 8 count. Boxing Learner said Kelly was holding a lot too. Yeah, he was moving a lot. He was doing a lot of holding and grabbing and stuff. Like it's like what Vlog said, man. Like the way he fought. Like I know it's a 10-point must system. It's 12 rounds and all that. You're scoring each individual rounds, but from an overall, just a general standpoint, you really don't like the champion losing the title to somebody fighting like that. Like I get it from a general sense. I get it 100%. Kelly was doing a lot in that fight. He said, "Will Bakram go to Zuffa?" I don't know. Zuffa's an unknown right now. Like we really don't know what's going on with Zuffa. If they're gonna play, if they're gonna play nice. He said, "Link, I'm gonna shoot it in a couple minutes, bro. I got you." Smooth Life. He said, "Kelly was fighting a no name and wasn't a champion yet. Now the UK guys are on the Kelly bandwagon." I don't. That's kind of tough to evaluate because I'm like he was an Olympian, so I mean he was always on their radar. From the stadium and all of that stuff and the purse bid and all that, I would say that they didn't have a lot of confidence in Josh Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Because like nobody from his end bid it. Like if they had confidence in Kelly, like they would have somebody on their end should have bid it and won the purse bid where they could have controlled everything. And it from the way it looks, it looked like Eddie Hearn won the purse bid, and it looked like, you know what? I really don't care too much about this fight as long as they fight Boots. I'm just gonna put them in a little spot. We're gonna make a couple dollars off of this. As long as we get the winner to fight Boots, I really don't care. So it really seemed like he didn't put that much into it. Because usually, you know, Eddie Hearn go big with the promotion and stuff like that. He usually go big. You know what I'm saying? Smooth Life said, yeah, but Kelly got derailed getting draws and losses. He was looked at like an underachiever. To gain a boxing audience, momentum matters. I agree with that as well. I agree with that as well, and that's why I said like it seemed like they didn't have that much confidence in Josh Kelly. But right now, I need for him to either fight Boots or drop the belt. One of the two. Because he's under contract. He's under contract, and you know the IBF going to enforce it. They're going to enforce it. But real quick, I wanted to get
Yeah,
into this topic. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead, bro, because that's gonna be my last topic. I'm gonna have to go and get up out of here.
Yeah. We're gonna make it short. Hey, smooth. We're gonna be back on Tuesday because we're gonna jump off in like 10 minutes. So Tuesday we can cook up for sure, but link up with me on the gram. He said he not dropping the belt. Boots would have a better chance to push his Mando in the WBA side. Um, but see, the thing
But
is, he could push his Mando, but the thing is, he already got the contract on the IBF side though, so he got to see that situation out. Like he got to see that out. Shelton, big shout out to you, Shelton. He said, "Why can't Kelly fight Xander?" Under normal circumstance, he put that in all caps too. He's strong about that.
Yeah, that's
So
that's the guy that jumped on with it.
and let me answer that.
okay,
The question is, would he really fight him? That's the question.
would he
you
really
say-
fight who?
Would he really fight Xander?
Yeah, it's a unification fight. Of course he would.
You're not understanding where I'm coming from. I'm putting a bit of sarcasm on it. Would he really fight him?
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do what he did in the Bachram fight. Yeah, that flew over my head. My apologies. I got you. He said, Smooth said it was a contract with Matchroom the Zone, not IBF. That's different. Yeah, but the thing is, Eddie Hearn controlled the fight though. He controlled it. Like that's the perk you get when you win the purse bid though. Go ahead.
And the IBF also enforces their mandatory.
Yes, they do. Yep, they enforce their mandatory. So yeah, he's either gonna have to fight Boots or get up out of that. But Shelton, to answer your question, he's contractually obligated to fight Boots. He said Shelton said the question is, will Eddie make the fight? Of course he'll make the fight. Yeah. That's why he put the stipulation in there, because he wants to make the fight. Like he's trying to feed Josh Kelly the Boots. You got to remember, Shelton, you have to remember, Josh Kelly's not signed to Eddie Hearn. Boots is signed to Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn won the purse bid. So this is the perk of winning the purse bid. He said, hey, I'll put this fight on, but the winner got to fight Boots. And they both agreed, and it's in the contract. Now, if it wasn't in the contract, then yeah, of course, like Josh Kelly would be smart to fight a unification fight with Xander Zayas. That would make the most sense. But he's contractually obligated. He's either going to have to fight Boots or he's going to have to drop the belt. Smooth said they enforce their IBF Mandos, not promotional company contracts. Yes, but at the same time, go ahead and explain it. Go ahead, bro. I know you're going to cook on that. Go ahead.
It's simple. If one aligns with the other, what are we talking about? The mandatory aligns with the contract and stated. The winner fights the number one contender. What do you like?
Which means the IBF is in line with it.
That's like, what I'm saying.
You can't put that a Smooth. You can't put that in the contract, and the IBF's not aligned with it. So the IBF would enforce that, and what will happen is because it's under contract. If Smooth, so let's just say real quick. Let's go with your logic. You said they enforce their IBF Mandos, not promotional company contracts, right? In order for Eddie Hearn to put that in the contract, he has to get approval from the IBF to even put that in the contract. The IBF had a sanctioning fee because the IBF belt was on the line. So the IBF is directly involved with the negotiation. They wouldn't even allow Eddie Hearn to put that in the contract if the IBF wasn't in approval of it. Vlog, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Smooth said, I want to fight for Boots bad, but man, it's not sounding good from the Kelly side. He talking about everyone but Boots. Yeah, he talking about everyone but Boots, and all that sound good. But at the end of the day, he either going to have to fight Boots or he going to have to drop the belt. They're not gonna, and the only way he's gonna be able to fight Xander Zayas is unless he pays Boots a crazy behind step away fee, and Boots ain't gonna take it. Boots ain't gonna take it. He can pay him some step aside money, but Boots not gonna take no step aside money. He wants the belt. He wants the belt because once he gets the belt, then he can get Virgil, and then he's gonna get more money than Virgil. So the step aside money is not gonna be enough. Shelton said that makes sense. Yeah, it's Shelton. It's the contract, bro. It's just the contract that they both signed, and it's not just Josh Kelly signed the contract, and so did Bakram. If Bakram won the fight, Bakram wouldn't be able to fight Xander Zayas. He wouldn't be able to fight Xander Zayas. He would have to fight Boots. And if he didn't want to fight Boots, he was either going to have to drop the belt or hope that Boots take a step aside fee. And then Boots would have got the winner of that. I think I'm talking facts. I don't know. I think I'm talking facts. Smooth said, if that's the case, then I stand corrected, but I didn't know promo contracts can align with belt contracts too if both parties agree. Smooth. Now, I will say this, though. You don't see it often. You don't see it often. I'll give you that. You do not see that often, but you do see it from time to time. So I'm not going to sit up here and make it seem like that's something that happens all the time in the sport of boxing. You rarely see a promoter that's not the promoter for both guys win a purse bid and put that type of stipulation in there. You rarely see that, but I mean, Eddie Hearn pulled it off. He pulled it off. You know what I'm saying? And the boxing source said he doesn't necessarily drop the belt. Yeah, I mean, they could do step aside fee. They could do something else to try to work that out. Go ahead, bro.
He doesn't have the cachet for step aside fee money because none of those fights that he's calling out outside of possibly a Conor Benn could be a big fight. But then who's putting up the money for Conor Benn? We don't know this. I don't know that Eddie Hearn is putting up any big money for a Josh Kelly Conor Benn fight.
Well, Conor Benn do numbers out there in the UK, so somebody's gonna pony up the cash.
Is it big enough money to pay Boots step aside money?
For a Conor Benn fight? Yeah, in the UK, yeah. I don't know what that number would be, but they could offer him a big number. They could offer him a big number. Because Conor Benn and Josh Kelly in the UK is going to do some crazy numbers out there. Numbers out there. Yeah. That's why I said, like, Eddie Hearn, you're going to know whether Eddie Hearn on the up and up, whether he gets Boots this fight. But he's put a lot of money in the Boots, so I believe he's going to get Boots this fight. Hold on real quick. Shmoove said, if Boots take step aside money, then I'll look at Boots sideways. Yeah, I don't want to see Boots take no step aside. Boxing source says Kelly would be on the shelf until he makes the Boots fight, until he takes the Boots fight. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like he's obligated. Like if he drops the belt, then he's not obligated because it's contingent on it being a title defense. So boxing source. That's why I said earlier, if Kelly drops the belt, then he doesn't have to fight Boots, but he can't keep the belt and go fight somebody else and not fight Boots. He has to fight Boots.
But those other fights don't make any sense without that belt. Because if they did, they would have already tried to make them.
The only one that would make sense for him is if it was some life-changing money with Conor Benn.
But without a belt, is that life-changing? How you build what you building around that fight? At least
Conor Benn and Eubank was life-changing money, and there wasn't no belt involved.
No, but at least there was a build-up around it. They had the legacy situation to build off of. That's different than Josh Kelly, who just was mentioned in the chat, kind of coming off a sluggish sort of route that he was on until this situation with Bakram. Now all of a sudden he's the crown prince of London or England or whatever. So yeah, you know what I mean? I don't think he got the catch.
Hey, Vlog, you might have to jump on. You might have to jump off, but Boxing Source want a link, and so do Smooth.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go because I passed my limit anyway. But yeah, right. I just hey, y'all continue the conversation, bro. I'm gonna jump back in the chat and I'll follow y'all. All right. So I appreciate y'all. I'm back this week. Real quick, let me finish this. I'm back this week, putting videos up. I'm gonna be breaking down these upcoming fights to finish out February. Obviously, you know we got the Super Juice fight coming up, or I believe the 21st. So I'm gonna still break that down. So we, look for that for the channel, and I'm gonna holler at y'all in the chat.
All right, yo.
Peace.
So
Peace,
vlog is
bro.
freaking hilarious. Vlog is hilarious, yo. Boxing source said, hold on, what's the link? I'm about to shoot it out right now. Xander would beat Kelly. If I'm Eddie, I'm making the Boots versus Kelly match and keeping that belt in house. Yeah, makes sense. Hold on. I mean, a legend.
I might,
If you can't stay on, I understand. But
yeah, bro. Like I gotta say, bro, the comment section during the day, man. Cool.
it's definitely jumping today. I put the link in the chat. So boxing source, smooth, and whoever else need to jump on.
Yeah, he's
And
commenting
then
from my end too. So I'm gonna just drop it on my end too.
okay.
Cause sometimes I think if you on the other stream, it won't work.
Lennar, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, Beef? Hey, my bad. I swear to you, man, I didn't get that message.
I'm just messing with you, bro. I'm just messing with
But
you, bro. I'm just
I
messing with
hit you
you.
back up already. So
Yeah,
as far as this though,
Yeah.
now again, maybe I'll sound corrected, but you're saying that Eddie was able to make a contract with the IBF and make a contract with them that the winner of that fight with Kelly and Backwam would have to be contractually obligated to fight Boots.
To my understanding, yes. Hold on. Matter of fact, hold on, Lenore. I'm gonna get boxing source in here. He probably gonna add some more context to it.
Okay.
Boxing source, what's going on, baby?
Hey, yo, what's happening? G5 Jeff, Pod
Hey,
the Legend. What's
Hey,
happening?
bro. Hey, bro. Real quick, bro. Hold on. Before we get started, bro. I do have a 25 page lawsuit joint from Floyd. Yeah, I seen it after I dropped the video, so I seen your
bet.
comment though.
Yeah. 'Cause
Hey,
I was gonna send it, but
yeah. Hey, source, can you bring us a little bit more context as far as this Josh Kelly boot situation? Am I explaining it the way it's supposed to be explained?
all right. So I gotta go with the IBF joint. So you had the thing there with Bachman as the world champ,
Mhm.
and I'm tracing this back from last year, right?
Okay.
So last year, Bachman was the world champ. Then you had the whole thing with Erickson Lubin, winning the eliminator bout on Pro Box. Okay. So Lubin was slated to be the mandatory challenger, right?
Mhm.
But with Backrun being with main events and Erickson Lubin being with Pro Box, main events doesn't have any, TV dates or anything like that. So they really can't back Backrun like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna see an instance where a world title fight outside of the thing there with what happened with Lamar Rhodes Jr. was going to be on Pro Box. So when the time came up when that particular fight was supposed to go up for purse bid, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Erickson Lubin ended up fighting Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Right.
So who was next in line? Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly is with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So when the purse bid came up, anybody's open for the bid. Like you and I, if we had the money, we could put up a bid for it. So Matchroom ended up winning it.
Mm-hmm.
Matchroom hosted it, and they ended up just having the fight take place. So regardless of who won that particular bout between Backrun and Josh Kelly, Matchroom had an option on the fighter after that.
Both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
basically both. Okay. So now with Josh Kelly winning, right, they have option on Josh Kelly.
Right.
Now, he could fight Boots, but it's not like he is under required obligation to fight Boots Ennis because Boots Ennis is not a mandatory challenger to the IBF title. Like he's not next in line. He already holds a version of a WBA title. Now, what can happen is that Matchroom with the rights to Josh Kelly can have Josh Kelly sit out until he does fight Boots, but he doesn't necessarily be stripped of it because that's not necessarily within the rules of the IBF.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. It's the promo contract and the IBF championship contract. Those are two different contracts.
But I think we're all on the same path, and I think we're gonna get to the same location because boxing source, if you look at it from your end, right now, because he has options on Kelly, he just make Kelly sit,
Right.
right? Correct.
Correct.
But if he sits, Kelly still has to make a decision.
Yep.
Correct.
Well, yes, he does have to make a decision in a sense that it might end up being like the backroom situation all over again. In that he'll be sitting out, could be upwards of a year or more,
Mm-hmm.
unless he just, either has the boots fight or it just ends up that he has to defend against a mandatory challenger when that does come up again. But for Kelly, you know, either Matchroom would say that he could have a voluntary defense and then fight Boots, or just go right into the Boots fight.
But all paths still lead to Boots.
Still, at the end of the day, it would.
Mm-hmm. That was the only point I was really trying to make. Like all roads still lead to Boots. The only way he gets out of a Boots fight really is unless he works something out with Eddie or he drops the belt or he's going to sit. He's kind of in a corner. Am I correct?
That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out because remember, with him winning this belt, that gives him, added, popularity and stuff like that. So he could still have a fight within, his home country or whatever it is. It's
Right.
just, will he have it against Boots? Maybe. Well, could he have a voluntary defense and then build his value up? That's up to Matchroom.
So we got to do some more digging.
Yeah.
We got to
So
do some more digging.
So my understanding again, we're being YouTube lawyers, right? So we're trying our best to try to put two and two together. But he's in a corner in a sense that from a promotional standpoint, they don't have to host a fight, right? Matchroom and DAZN doesn't have to host a fight, put the money up for the fight, pay the fighters. But from a championship belt perspective, he's in a pinch fighting his Mando, right? So from my understanding, he's kind of following the sport, right? Let's say that Eddie Hearn really said, you know what, no, you made this promotional company, you signed this contract, you gave us your word that you'll fight Boots next. It could be a thing where they say, we're just not going to put the money for a fight then. If it's not Boots, nobody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then the IBF can come knocking and say, well, you got to get a matter out the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a thing where puts him in a corner, and then that would create legal issues, right? About this. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I really think that. Do you really think that Eddie Hearn is going to like not give him a fight? Like, let's be real, man. How many times in the sport of boxing do we see people? They're just going to say, you know what? Maybe we can't get the Boots fight, but we'll get the next best thing. You're not going to have Kelly just sit out like that, right? I don't think that they're gonna, and that's unfortunate for Boots. That's why I'm saying, if anything, Boots tries to push that WBA and get a just as big as fight with Xander Zayas, if not bigger. But then, I don't think Xander would fight Boots, but at least he's getting the belt, right? He'll probably just drop the belt if anything, but at least he's getting the belt. So that's what I'm saying. At least he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least that's.
Well,
Go ahead.
hold on. So, boxing source, can you? To me, boxing source, I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking. You tell me if I'm kind of on a right or wrong path. With Josh Kelly, even if he's leaning at, let's say the IBF steps in and says, "Hey, we got to, you got to get the Mando out the way." Somebody still has to pay for the Mando. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Somebody still has to pay for the Mando, network and all, right?
Yeah.
So if Kelly, so we'll go with Lennar's thought process and say, hey, the IBF says, all right, well, you got to get your Mando out the way. So there's gonna be nothing offered from Kelly's end because Eddie Hearn is the one that has the option, correct?
He would have the option, but the thing with Kelly is he wouldn't have to worry about that Mando until, basically next January or, kind of like a couple months before that. You know.
Right. So he could literally sit out until like
Yeah.
October.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the thing. Like it's really it really sounds like a question is Josh Kelly willing to sit? Because if he's willing to sit, he's gonna lose all his momentum that he has right now. He's
I
gonna
mean,
lose all of it.
now here's the thing that I'm curious about though, right?
Hmm.
Like you talk about Boots. Boots' current status is that he is the WBA interim champion, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you have Xander Zayas as the unified champion with the WBA and WBO. He is under top rank, right?
Hmm.
But at this current juncture, top rank doesn't have a large scale network deal
Correct.
in comparison to Matchroom.
Correct.
So for Boots, which would be his best route right now? Go for that WBA and WBO, or go for the IBF, where basically Matchroom would kind of like hold the keys to it because Top Rank doesn't really have anything right now, at least not a deal. Like at least with Matchroom, they got the zone behind them.
Correct. So that goes back to what I was thinking previously. So Eddie Hearn is kind of controlling everything. And that's why he won the purse bid for this Bakram and
Yep.
Kelly fight
Yep.
because it gives him options from all angles.
Right.
And that's why I was like, the IBF is not the end all be all in this situation. Like, Eddie Hearn is playing chess in this situation. He knows that Josh Kelly can't really move without him because of the option. And then on top of that, regardless of what the IBF is thinking, the IBF, a boxing source, they want their
Yeah.
sanctioning fee, dog, and they want a nice size one. So they
Yeah.
don't want him fighting just any old man, though, where it's a little bit of money involved.
Mhm.
They trying to get the biggest sanctioning fee they could possibly get.
Yeah, that would be
So
their route.
that would be the
That's
route.
and that's kind of what they Matchroom and Boots, they kind of like thought this out. That's why they
Hmm.
said like, okay, yeah, we're gonna be, having this thing where we fight, when he fought. But the thing about it is that he's like saying, hey, let's get this for the WBA interim title, right? And then once we get that, then hey, we know that we have the options because we're gonna go after that purse bid with Josh Kelly and Bakram Murtazali because they know that hey, if I seen Bakram and Erickson Lubin with main events and pro box not even go for it. Let's see what happens here with main events in Wasserman Schultz or whatever. And if
Hmm.
they ain't gonna be able to put up the money because they ain't gonna have what I could have as far as like resources, then
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna go after this fight and put in the bid. And even if it comes to me like overpaying, cool. But I know that I'm
Hmm.
gonna be able to get it back.
Because my guy gonna win the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to make sure that I got my timeline right here, boxing sources. It's 1 year for the Mando, right before IBF, before yes, he's mandated, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
Hmm.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha. And this is so again, so he can possibly sit out, right? Josh Kelly, right? If it really comes down to it, and I just don't think, and this is just my personal opinion. I just don't think that they're just gonna let Josh, because he's a star in the UK now, he's gonna let him just sit out without getting a fight. If anything, they'll try to push his around fight first. If that fight doesn't happen, they'll go for the next best option, right? And I'm like, well, hell. And I know definitely. And but here's the thing: let's say that Jerron goes for the WA route, try to push for that, right? Top Rank's not gonna let Steve Zanner the boots. They're just not. They have a young Puerto Rican star, unified, great skills. They're not gonna just give him the boots from the promotional side. I know you said okay, Top Rank doesn't have a thing network, but I don't know. I mean, why would they still give their rising star in a somewhat, I mean, big fight, but still a somewhat dangerous fight, high risk, still kind of somewhat low reward in boots?
Well, The thing to answer that, bro, is it's really up to the sanctioning bodies. If the WBA says, "Hey, you have to fight Boots," because Top Rank don't have a network, it really backs them into a corner. It's the same thing with the Kelly situation. If the IBF says like, "Hey, like we're okay with you sitting out until October or November, and then you can fight the Mando," unless the IBF actually signs on for that, that puts Josh Kelly in the corner. Actually, like Eddie Hearn pulled a chess move. Eddie Hearn pulled a chess move to where he has both all of the champions backed in the corner.
No, for sure. But my thing, G5, is like, do we really want to see our boy Boots sit out for that long? Like
No, no, absolutely
that's not
not.
fair. That's not fair to his career, bro.
I agree.
And then there's that, and then he's just supposed to sit out, and then people say, well, he's not fighting nobody. Well, these are the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
These are the reasons
I,
when certain fighters, they talk about they're not fighting people. This is the damn reason why.
hey,
And
hey,
it's
Lennar.
yeah,
Here's the thing, bro. Like Boots, there's not. I don't think there's five fighters in the sport that if you ask the entire sport if you want to fight Boots in us, get in line. I don't think there's five fighters in the sport that'll get in line. Like Boots is like he's like on some boogeyman status right now. Like Eddie Hearn literally had to do this. Like think about it this way. So in boxing source, you can let me know if you agree or disagree. In this situation, I've rarely seen this in the sport of boxing. Xander Zayas is the unified champion, right? Josh Kelly is the IBF champion. Boots is an interim WBA champ, and you can make the argument that Boots has more power in this situation than the two champions.
Yeah,
Is
he
that
does.
far fetched, boxing source?
Yeah, he does. I mean, given what we were talking about there when it came to him going after the thing there with the WBA interim and having Matchroom win that bid for the IBF title fight. You know, the only thing that may have me a little bit doubtful with the WBA is if they elevate Xander Zayas and have him become super champion. Because if they do that, then the whole mandatory status kind of changes a little bit. Well, they could
Mhm.
change a little bit because then Zayas wouldn't have to be, obligated to fight against a mandatory challenger in that sense for an extended period of time. But it just depends on the WBA how they play it out.
And boxing source, just to add on to that, bro. Like, and we know this. The sanctioning bodies are gonna play wherever the money is. Like they're gonna play wherever the money is. Wherever the biggest
Exactly.
money is, that's where they're gonna play.
Exactly.
And Boots is gonna be the bigger money, no matter what. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because it's like at 154, Fundora's busy, right? Fundora's busy with Keith Thurman in March. So that would push him out probably until maybe late summer, something like that, depending on the result. Now, as far as the sanctioning bodies is concerned, their main objective is to have the biggest name champion holding their belt because essentially that's going to be the biggest sanctioning fee that they can get because
Right.
they have the biggest name champion. So with Xander Zayas, like it's a can't lose for them because if Xander Zayas, like he had a crowd out there in his home country, like for sure, he definitely had a crowd out there for sure. But the thing is, if Xander Zayas fights Boots, they're good either way. They're good either way. Because Xander Zayas can fight in his hometown and get a big bag, and Boots can fight in Philly and get a big bag. Boots can fight in New York and get a big bag. So the
Yeah.
WBA is going to be able to get their bag with either guy. So I don't see them moving Zayas into a super champion status if their goal is money. Now the IBF is, I would say, source agree or disagree. The IBF is the most strict out of the four. Correct?
Yeah, they are.
They're the most strict out of the four. So I'm actually more curious to see what the IBF does because that situation is a little rare. with Eddie Hearn having the option on Josh Kelly, and I want to see how the IBF kind of moves with that situation because it like it involves them, but it kind of don't involve them too. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was like saying with the whole mandatory situation and how that was handled. Like when they had to go, they basically went down the line with that. And, at the time, like Kelly was one that was available. So, they just said, hey, this is going to be another purse bid. So that's why, you know, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom was like, okay, let's just wait it out, see if we win this bid. If we win this bid, then we got all the keys. And so,
Mm-hmm. And they have the keys because of the network situation.
yep,
They
that's
had the keys because of the network situation. So if Eddie Hearn is making a bid at a purse bid, he's making it not only on behalf of Matchroom, he's making it on behalf of the Zone too. You know what I'm saying? Because they want these fights, and they're one of the few. So the only networks we really have right now is really the Zone, and really Paramount. It's
yeah,
really the only two that are really like clearly invested in the sport of boxing. We have Amazon's not invested in boxing. I know PBC has an Amazon deal, but they're not invested in the sport of boxing. Like Amazon's not waking up in the morning worried about boxing rankings and listening to
no,
shows like myself and the
they're not,
boxing
they're not,
source.
willing to. They're not really putting money into that because if
Correct.
you were, then you would be having just shows on regular Amazon Prime, like pretty
Yes.
much more often. You know,
Yeah, you can hit it. Like if they got an opportunity to hit a lick, they'll hit a lick. But that's really what that contract is. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's what makes this situation so interesting. But that's why I think Boots is eventually going to get. If I had to bet, I think he's getting Kelly or Zayas before the year out. He's gonna get one of the two before the year out,
Right.
in my opinion.
So that
Lenore, go
okay,
ahead, bro.
so then who is he gonna fight right now? Rashidi Ellis? Like this again, this is not Boots' fault. But I want Boots to either chase big names, solid names like Virgil, or championships. Who does he fight next?
Boxing source. That's a good question. You wanna go first on that?
And I think it would depend on if he fights within these next couple of months. If it's within these next couple of months, you probably see him against someone like a Rashidi Ellis. I forgot who, like someone else was mentioning, but they're trying to see about working out, putting him in the ring in Atlanta, maybe or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So if that's the case, then it would be against Rashidi Ellis or someone else that's up around the rankings there within the 154-pound division. I kind of like suggested maybe Andreas Katsarakis or something like that. But if you're going to put it in Atlanta, that particular fight won't make sense.
Right.
Katsarakis fight. But if he is willing to wait it out until June or July, then he could get one of those champions.
And Lenora, here's the thing, bro. Like, I think I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I think Boots just need to be patient until the summertime. Because both of them are not gonna be able to get out of this. Xander and Josh Kelly. Both of them are not gonna escape. one may escape, but not both. If it's me, I think I would wait it out, let Eddie Hearn and the Zone work their magic, and they're gonna present one of these two champions to Boots. Because if Boots fights anybody outside of these two champions, you know what's gonna happen in the media. He's gonna get killed for it. And we know it's not his fault, but he's gonna get killed for it. And it's not even worth it. Him fighting a Rashidi
Okay,
Ellis in Atlanta, it wouldn't be worth it.
it
For
needs to
him.
either be Ortiz, Kelly, or Zayas, man. Anything
Well,
outside of this is you haven't fought
but
nobody.
the thing with that, Lennar, is that Ortiz is in litigation right now. The worst thing you could be as a boxer is in legal litigation. It's the worst. Like, because it takes time. It takes time. And Oscar De La Hoya is probably the most hard-headed person in the business. And you got to remember with Oscar De La Hoya, he didn't re-sign his deal with the Zone. So technically, he doesn't have a network deal. Source, am I correct on that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if he has anything with the zone, he probably has the same deal that TGB and PBC have with Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's it's contingent on what the fight is,
Yeah.
and obviously the zone wants Virgil Ortiz and Boots, so Oscar's trapped in a corner. So to be honest with you, Boots as a contender has the entire damn near the entire division on lock. Virgil Ortiz, if he want to fight, he gonna have to go see Boots. Xander Zayas wants to fight, he's probably gonna have to go see Boots. Kelly, he's gonna have to go see Boots. It's all of them are not Lennar, all three of them not gonna escape, bro. One of them three is gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to fight, bro. Because they Boots the only one that got the network behind him. He has the promoter behind him, he has the network behind him. And that's why when you talk boxing, it's such a bigger conversation because this is probably the only sport where you gotta factor in sanctioning bodies, money, who controls who. Like it's a whole game behind the game. You know what I'm saying? I think Boots just need to be patient, yo. He just need to be patient, and I think everything will just fall into place. But let me get in the comments real quick. Boxing First Vlog said Boots is the greatest boxer of all time. I'm not paying you no mind, bro. Boxing First Vlog, to get a real payday, he can't sit too long. Yeah, that's like I said. Source, real quick question for you: do you see Josh Kelly possibly, if they offered him a big number for a Conor Benn fight, but he had to drop the belt? You think he would drop the belt to take a Conor Benn fight in the UK?
If it looks like it's more lucrative for him, he would probably do that. But I don't know, like how Conor Ben would factor into the equation, unless that they say, hey, this could be finally Conor Ben's opportunity to fight for and win a world title. But
Well, I'm thinking if he dropped the belt, like if it's so much money that he just drops the belt and goes after a Conor Benn fight.
yeah, but I don't think he has. Well, he doesn't necessarily have to drop the belt for that fight. If it's going to be within 147 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if he like moves up and then makes the announcement that he's moving up, then yeah. But he's not like, he doesn't have a mandatory challenger. So
Right.
so regardless of who he fights, like it doesn't mean that if he fights them that he has to give up the belt or
Right.
pay the side fee. He's not under any mandatory obligations at this point.
Gotcha. That's fair. Boxer First Vlog, the IBF can easily elevate Ennis to number one if he currently isn't. Derek said G5, salute, bro. Big shout out to you, Derek, man. Appreciate you, bro. He said, we game all night. Big shout out to you. He said Boots need a new promoter. He's fighting too many international guys. The bro, he's actually playing like Eddie Hearn's kind of playing the game right now, and it's almost like he has to play the game because guys are not willing to fight Boots. So it's a patience game for sure. He said they need to just pay Charlo and beat the brakes off him. A boxing source didn't they say he wanted like 10 M's for Boots?
Well, he may have said what he may have wanted, but I'm still not certain that Charlo is fully back because he might be dealing with the same situation that Floyd Mayweather was dealing with. But that's a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah, the thing that's crazy. I was gonna drop a video, because when I seen your comment, you was like, "Yo," when I seen your comment, bro, you was like, "Yo, I gotta send you something." I'm like, "Damn, what am I missing?" So I went looking, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" I was like, "The indictment's on here." I was like, "There's a whole 25 pages." I was just like, "All right, I gotta go read that." But then the first thing I thought about, I was just like, "Yo, like if Floyd's doing this," I was like, "How many other PBC boxers is gonna jump on?"
Mm-hmm.
All right, we ain't gonna listen. We ain't gonna give him that. We ain't gonna give him that because we get ready to get up off here. We ain't gonna give him that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna give him that. Yeah, but that's all we really wanted to really like touch on. So it's really gonna be interesting to see.
So
how things go moving forward. I think this definitely warrants. I think I'm gonna be back on Tuesday. Source, when you jumping back on?
Yeah, I'm thinking about if I was going to do it tonight, usually at 7:30. But I have
Okay.
to situation on it.
Okay. Let me know because if you do, I'll jump on. I'll jump on for sure.
All right.
But I think that's a great topic to talk about. And source before we roll, man, I definitely I gotta give you your props, man. Like you got the interview with Mauricio Suleiman, which was a great interview. Um, and then you got eBay too for the the Big Baby Miller thing too. I was
Yeah,
cracking up.
yeah,
I was
man.
cracking up with that, man. But salute to you in getting those interviews, man. And those I know those interviews are not easy to get because I know Ty Finney, the legend, he does interviews as well, and there's a certain process with those, and I know it requires some patience, and I'm not a patient guy. So anybody that pulls off the interviews in the boxing space and they're successful with it, man, I salute it. So boxing source, big shout out to you for those two interviews and the interviews that you get in general because you get some pretty big names, man. So salute to you for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And yo, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also I'm gonna get the links for your interviews too. I'm gonna post them joints too because they need people need to listen to them interviews because they was especially the Mauricio Suleiman one. Like they need to really listen to that because whenever he speaks, I take close attention to what he says, but I also pay attention to it because I apply it to the actual rules that the WBC has.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Because
You know. Hmm.
yeah, 'cause, people, had the whole thing with the hot topic when it came to Mauricio Suleiman, and yeah, I guess they didn't necessarily, look at what the rules were for that particular situation, and I had to look it up myself. And there's been some, commentary about it, but hey, I mean, hey, I'll just say the rules are the rules.
Yeah. And the thing is, I had to go back and I had to actually look myself because I was under the impression, and of course we're not gonna really get into it, but I was under the impression there was a certain window for set person to announce where they were going to reside at. And what I was told, well, my thought was incorrect. So after I went back and read it, I was just like, okay. But I do feel like those are situations where I feel like the WBC, I think I think they sometimes they do a bad job of not getting ahead of the message. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it took for him to sit down with you in order to bring some clarity to it. Where I'm like, you run the WBC, I think it would. I think he could have got ahead of it a lot quicker. Like even the Bud situation, I felt like he could have got in front of that too.
yeah,
It seemed like sometimes they don't. They're not too mindful in terms of what the boxing public is seeing or saying. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of got to get brought up to them. It almost seemed like they don't have their ear to the street. Let somebody bring them to the street.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? So it's
exactly.
yeah. So it's kind of
D5.
crazy. Yes, sir.
You know who I would like to see him fight next? If that's like, and if we're in a perfect world, I'd actually rather see him fight Zayas because Zayas
Who
is
boots?
yeah, because Zayas. I mean, look, he brings two belts to the table. Plus, I mean, he's undefeated, and plus he's arguably I mean he is for sure bigger than even Kelly is. So
Yeah,
I would even like to see him fight Zayas. Like but I just think of course it's kind of I'm just sticking strictly with promotional companies having fighters underneath their banner and stuff.
yeah.
But
But I think
it's just frustrating, man, because like it's like you always say, oh, we could just be patient. We should be patient. Like, man, we've been patient, man. He's 28 years old. Again, this is not his fault. I'm just venting here.
mhm.
We've been patient, man, and he shouldn't have to go through this. I mean, Spence went through this. Crawford to an extent went through this. All these guys they go through this shit. Where it's like
Yeah,
they,
but
it's like because he's not.
Hey, Lennar. But the
Yeah,
thing is, bro, this is why I commend Eddie Hearn for what he's doing, because he went through this with Brian Norman Jr. He went through this with Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Jr. decided to go in a different direction. Now, him going in a different direction, um, that was his decision. But the thing is, they wasted a lot of time doing that. That was a time thing. They wasted a lot of time with a back and forth, and I still to this day I don't think Brian Norman Jr. was going to take that fight. And I don't want to say Junior. I think because I think Junior would jump in the ring with anybody. So I don't ever want to disrespect him. But I think his dad would have never signed on for that fight. I think his plan was to work around Boots, the whole time. But the thing that's crazy though, Lennar, if he would have fought Boots, except for Devin Haney, if he would have lost to Boots, at least it would have been like, Boots wouldn't have beat him, and it wouldn't have been like a boxing clinic like Haney did. It would have been a different type of a win for Boots against a Brian Norman Jr. It might have been a firefight. It might have just been a back and forth. Dad might still be his trainer. Dad might still be his trainer. Like he might still be his trainer. Devin Haney. Devin Haney's. Go ahead real quick.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The thing with Devin Haney's one of the best fighters in the world at winning rounds. He's one of the best in the world at winning rounds. Like, it is very hard to win rounds against Devin Haney. Like, he's one of the best at it. Boots is a little something different. Like, he wins rounds, but he in there trying to kill. As crazy as it sounds, Boots was probably the better style matchup for Brian Norman Jr., even though I feel like Boots would have beat him. I think Boots would have stopped him. But it would have been a better style matchup because I feel like Boots would have gave him more opportunities offensively, because Boots does have lapses offensively.
Yeah, that's true. I do agree. Stylistically, it might have been slightly better, but as far as him losing the fight, man, it would have been a dead end either way. Because at least with Devin Haney, he's considered top 10 pound for pound, right? Okay, you just lost to a top 10 pound for pound guy. There's a little grace in that. But if you lose to Boots right now, it's like, fuck. Where does your career go? That's why it's almost like Boots is kind of funny. Like, he's a perfect fight for like a gatekeeper. Like you notice how Bachram was calling him out. You notice how Josh Kelly, before he got the belt, he was calling him out, right? Because it's like it's a dead end fight. It's like, okay, I got no other options. It's, if I beat Boots, I'm back on top. I'm back in contention, right? And it's a pretty decent money fight. But it's not. He's not to the level where it's like a Crawford or a Canelo or a Spence, where it's like, okay, these guys are kind of like household names, where it's like any and everybody will fight him, right? So he's kind of like in that weird tweener zone where it's like, if you're like a gatekeeper, or if you're like at a dead end in your career, okay, I want to fight Boots, no problem. But if you're like a guy who has a belt, or a guy who is a big name, you're like, I kind of want to stay away from him because it doesn't bring that much. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird position.
Yeah, it's a weird position, but at the same time, though, you mentioned some of the greats. Errol Spence had to wait it out before he got the Kell Brook fight. Terrence Crawford had to wait it out until he got, to be honest with you, until he got the Sean Porter fight and the Earl Spence fight. When you're in this position, when you're really that good of a fighter and you're not on the promotional side of things, sometimes your best course of action is to wait it out, because that person don't have any other options. I know Kell Brook tried to get out of that title fight with Spence like 2 or 3 times, and Spence was like, no. Source about tripping.
Man, I still say that he was lucky as hell to get that damn fight with Gennady Golovkin.
Yes.
Because actually that bailed both of them out.
Yeah. Facts. 100% facts. And that's why I'm like, with Boots, even if you're a Boots fan, the best thing you can do is be patient, because I'm like, Eddie Hearn has put him in the best position to get a title fight at 154 pounds. And I think it's amazing that he's actually done this, because Oscar De La Hoya has dragged out this Virgil Ortiz situation. And that's why Oscar De La Hoya is in the situation he's in now, to where he really doesn't have any options Like he really doesn't have any options. Like he could get out of the situation, but he won't have Virgil Ortiz as a client, and he won't have the zone as a network. So what do you do with the rest of Golden Boy?
They're
You
in
know
the
what I'm saying?
same. They're in the same boat as Top Rank right now.
Absolutely. A source, real quick before we get off of here. Do you think another network is going to come into the sport of boxing and actually invest in the sport, or are we looking at the zone and I guess I could say Paramount in a sense. Like, do you see any other network possibly making a run at making a major investment in boxing?
No, I think I think a number of spots have already been used. Um,
Mm,
what is it? Because you've already had CBS, Viacom. You've already had, to a certain extent, Fox. You've already
mhm,
had NBC Universal.
mhm.
So all of those network type things have been used up. So all there is now is just something like a thing there with the Amazon, the Zone, a Netflix, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's a thing. It's a difference between having a contract with a promotional company and actually making an investment in a sport. It's two completely different things. If you look at it, that Amazon PBC contract, that's a prime example. But yeah, we got boxing's busy right now, man. Boxing is extremely busy. Um, great fights so far this year. Um,
But
it,
G5, if I'm a network, why would I try to invest into a sport where it's so fragmented? You got so many different people in the pot. You got promotional companies, you got belts, you got all these things in the pot.
mhm.
Why would I invest in a sport that is so fragmented if I'm a
Well,
promotional company? You got
it
great fighters who can become household names, but it's spread out between all promotional companies, all belts. So it's like, why would I invest in a sport where it has no regulation? And unless the government steps in to try to dissolve some of these either belt companies and or has to dissolve some of these promotional companies and make it under one banner, we're going to continue to go through this.
Source, go ahead, bro.
now, the thing with the networks, kind of, going through it and then like they basically ran its course,
Mhm.
is because they're kind of like based within just U.S. When you have something like a DAZN or Netflix or Amazon, you're kind of like dealing with a worldwide market.
Mhm.
So, like for DAZN, for example, they could invest in something, but that's only because they're doing it from a worldwide perspective.
Mhm.
And whatever they kind of like put their money in, actually, boxing is like the least that they invest in when it comes to sports worldwide. And it's just like a drop in the bucket. But if it's something like a CBS or like a NBC, like they have to really put in something within their budget within the country, so to speak, or else it's like they they know that they ain't getting the returns at this point. That's what happened with HBO. That's what eventually ended up happening with Showtime. They basically said, "Hey, we're not getting enough returns to this in comparison to having like a show that could be within that same time slot and get more people to either watch or to subscribe to their network." So they just
Mhm.
all together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great point.
yeah, but like I agree with that. But what I'm also saying is like we can have a solution for that, but we don't. Like, listen, boxing is one of the only sports. Not even UFC does it because nobody does UFC when it comes to just having these like obscure events. Like you could have G5 fighting fucking Snoop Dogg, and that'll make millions just because people want to see Snoop Dogg fight a random person, right? And that'll bring a return and be a big pay-per-view event. Meaning Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson, or you're gonna have an influencer come in or a celebrity come in, and people will pay millions. It will bring in millions of dollars,
Mhm.
right? Boxing is one of the only sports you can do that. Like you don't see Snoop Dogg having a soccer match against another random person and it bringing millions of dollars like that. Nobody cares about that shit. But people
Mhm.
do want to see a boxing match. People do want to see a fight, and they'll pay for that no matter who it is, whatever skill set they have, whatever level they have. They'll pay for that,
Yeah.
right? So That's why I'm like, okay, like this sport can compete with any sport. It can compete with even soccer because boxing is one of the only sports that's global that can actually you can put on a single event, like I said, and you're gonna have a if it's just a name in there, people are curious to see it, right?
Mhm.
So it's like this sport can just compete. Like I said, Muhammad Ali was bringing had a billion to 2 billion people when he was fighting in his prime in the
Mhm.
80s and 70s,
Right.
right? And that's what just Muhammad. Imagine you had two Muhammad Ali's talking shit to each other, right? I'm just giving an example here. I know that's an extreme, but that's what I'm trying
Right.
to say. Like these people don't know like how lucrative this could be, but it's just because it's so fragmented that this is why we don't. And this is another thing that needs to die. People say the best fight the best can bring the sport back. I agree with that, but just because it's the best doesn't mean you're the biggest name, right? Jake Paul, Floyd, and Mike Tyson will be huge just because they are who they are, but they're far past their best, right? So the best fighting the best is kind of is a double edged sword. But my point is simply this: to land my plane, we need some type of government regulation that will come in and just say, okay, nope, you come here, one banner, one name, one face, maybe a couple belts, and that's it. If you want to see the sport thrive, but if it keeps getting fragmented like this, it's not going to work. We keep seeing Black Prime got out of business, ESPN got out of the business,
Yeah.
Showtime got out of the business, HBO got out of the business. They're coming and they're going, and I'm trying to tell y'all, y'all love this sport like I do. If we don't see some type of regulation here, when these people come together under one roof, one banner, it's going to continue to happen, and the sport is not going to be where it used to be back in the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Lennar, I remember I used to talk like you back in the day, bro. I remember I used to talk exactly like you, bro. Like you want the best for the sport, so we can get kind of like the global power, like a football, a basketball, a soccer. Like I get it. The thing about boxing, um, boxing has always been considered the wild, wild west, and boxing is probably the only sport in the world that's never been regulated. Boxing has never been regulated, and I think the difference between boxing and all other sports is that all other sports has gone through this transformation over the years, the decades, to get to where they're at now in regards to regulation. With boxing, no matter how many big fights we've had, how many pay-per-views, how many superstars, stars, gatekeepers, it doesn't matter. Boxing never went through the process of developing the business aspect and the regulation aspect to have the same setup as all of the other sports. I can't explain why, but since the beginning of boxing, the mob has been involved, gangsters has been involved. It's always been this type of like illegal, you know, aspect to boxing. Boxing as a sport has never regulated itself to the point to where that's taken away. So even now, you still see shady stuff to this day, and it doesn't matter that we have the internet. It doesn't matter that we have social media, and everything is nothing's really a secret nowadays. Like boxing's never gone through that process. It's kind of similar to um Source. You can vibe with me on this one. A lot of people talk about boxers and how much they make versus the UFC and how much their fighters make. The difference is boxing has always had people, and I'm talking about superstar fighters that push the envelope for the fighters to increase the salary, increase the value. The UFC went so long without having guys making money. By the time they got popular, they only had about 4 or 5 guys that was really, really eating, like really eating. I mean, you talk outside of Conor McGregor, John Jones, and maybe 2 or 3 other people, it wasn't nobody eating like that. Nobody pushed the envelope. But I don't expect for boxing to push the envelope to get to one face, one sound, one commission, like all of the other sports. Like shit, people wanted Al Heyman to be the face of the sport, but you see what's happening now.
Well, we know what happened with Al Heyman.
You're right, but my point is that at one point people wanted Al Heyman to be the face of the sport.
Well, hear me. Well, I say real quick, but you can continue. But when he before this whole him being shady recently, but when he got into this business, he was not acting like Bob Arum and them racist other promoters didn't have it out against him, didn't want to work with him, didn't want to give him fighters, had this antagonistic perspective off the bat. Didn't even want to work with the dude. Yet he promoted the biggest star in the last 30 years in Floyd Mayweather Jr. But yet
Hey,
they didn't want to work with him. Go ahead.
hey, Lennar, here's the thing though, bro. Al Heyman took an entire stable. He took an entire stable. That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not upset about what's going on, because I'm like, when you do dirty business, when you do nasty business, it comes back. It comes back. That's like if I had, let's just say I had $100,000, right? And let's say Vlog, for example, I got $100,000, and I got it sitting in a bag in a corner. And let's just say Vlog grabs the bag or whatever, he got the 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, hey, that was my 100 grand. And Vlog be like, well, ain't nobody claim it. It was kind of just sitting here. So, I just went on and took it. The same thing happened with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Like, I don't want to dig too deep into it, but that's the same thing that happened with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Like, he took the entire operation. Because Oscar De La Hoya's situation wasn't tight contractually. Like, he literally sabotaged and took over that whole situation, which led to HBO getting shut down, which led to Showtime getting shut down. You know how many bridges Al Heyman done burnt down with that type of business? That's what I'm saying. That's why it's difficult to have one person, one sound when the whole sport.
How did he take fighters when fighters decide to walk willingly over there? That's not taking anything.
But that's dirty. It's dirty business though. That was Oscar's people, and he found a loophole and took them. That's what happened. Just like that's what happened, bro. That's what happened.
They should be more upset that the fighters left. They the one who owed them loyalty, that owed Golden Boy loyalty.
No, but the thing is, bro, it's still dirty business. Whether it was legal or illegal, that's still dirty business. Like if you got some business going on, and I go behind your back because I found a loophole in your contract and I take your business, it may be legal, but that's still dirty, bro. That's still dirty. Like that's dirtball type stuff. That's dirty.
Yeah, that's why Al was like trying to be sued by all these other like Oscar and them because he was saying he was violating the alley. But I remember like when Al first came out, they was like, yo, this guy's trying to monopolize the sport. Like he had all the fighters. Like his stable of fighters were just so large. He had so many networks. Like when he first came out, and like it was like, man, this guy's trying to take over the sport.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like he found loopholes to where he was able to do that. It wasn't just, if you want to look at it from a legal standpoint, yeah, it might have been legal, but some things can be legal and still be dirty. It can still be dirty. Like he's burned every single bridge he's been at from a network standpoint. And that's part of the reason why we got the problem that we have now. If you don't have that dirty business going on, HBO is probably still in the market. Showtime's probably still in the market. Who else? Source, who else am I forgetting? Spike had a contract, right?
NBC, Bounce.
NBC, Bounce. How many networks, bro?
Yeah, CBS, had the whole
CBS. Thing. So Lennar, I get what you're saying, bro, but he's been doing dirty business for a very, very long time, even though it might be legal by law perspective.
I'm not even saying okay, but what I'm saying is this: those fighters had their choice to stay or walk away. They chose to walk away to something they perceived to be better. What's wrong with that? I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm not saying that Al Heyman hasn't done, but they've all done shady shit. People were complaining about Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum for years. Bob Arum was on camera saying, on record as saying, sometimes I lie, sometimes I tell the truth.
Mm-hmm. No, and I'm with you.
Why are you all doggy piling on Al Heyman? Al Heyman, it's like me and you. We go in business, and we promote our business, and we say, okay, this is why we're better than the competition. Come to us.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not getting on the fighters too? If anything, like I said, they owe their loyalty to Bob Arum, not They're the that I mean, Oscar De La
Well,
Hoya. He's the
well,
one who
at
put you
that
down.
particular time, bro, the people you gotta look at it this way. Sometimes you could be in a position where you really ain't got no choice. So let's just say let's take your logic, right? There was a fighter, and source, you correct me if I'm wrong. There was a fighter that was a known name, not a superstar or anything, but a known name, Vanez Martirosyan. He had that same choice. Am I correct? He had that same choice. He decided not to roll that route. I don't know if he's fought since. Like I don't know if he's fought since, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say to Lenore. I was like after every fighter, like after every time they won, the first thing they said is, they thank Al Heyman. So it's like I guess they just want to say nothing bad about him because then something will go sour in their career. So I guess that was something they had to do.
bro, but Lenore, I don't want you to think that the fighters had like a clear choice back in the day. Like that was literally a get down to lay down. It was literally a get down to lay down, bro. Anybody that didn't get down with Al Heyman, look at where their career is, bro. I get what you say. I get what you're saying. I don't want you to think that I don't understand what you're saying, but this is the part of
My
the
point.
dirty business.
This is my point. I'm saying boxing. Everybody's dirty in this game. It's not just Al Heyman. It's Oscar De La Hoya.
But the difference, bro,
If the
Lenore,
shoes
here's
were
the
on the
difference.
other foot, they would have been the same thing, man.
Lenore, here's the difference, though. Al Heyman and his tactics has cost the sport about 7 networks. When Bob Arum does his dirt, it was simply just one network. Oscar De La Hoya was doing his dirt, it was only one network. Al Heyman then spread his dirt throughout 7 or 8 networks to the point where the sport has been hindered because all of the possible networks that can invest in the sport of boxing, they don't want to invest. And they can invest because of the investment that they made in him. There's no denying that.
I guess we're all at the same place. But I just think that it didn't matter if it was Al Heyman, Shushaka, ABC, number 6 guy. It doesn't matter who it was. We would have came to this result. I know he's an easy guy to point out because it physically happened in front of your eyes. But I'm also saying that, these, we all there's not one person I can really say this person's the reason why boxing's the way it is. It's all of them equally, man. They all have played it.
See, that's where Lenore. That's where I disagree. I don't think it's equal because you need it with boxing. You need networks. You need people to invest in the sport of boxing. Back in the day, we had HBO, we had Showtime, we had Spike, we had Bounce, we had CBS, we had NBC at one point. You had ABC at one point. You had all of these networks. None of them are around, bro. None of them are around. Bob Arum's not the reason why Showtime not in business. Bob Arum's not the reason why HBO's not in business. None of them other promoters is the reason why Bounce is not in business. I'm not saying that they're all criminals in a sense, but there's a person that committed a lot more crimes than the other ones. That's the only point I'm trying to make, bro. They all criminals.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
He done committed a lot more crimes. Straight up.
Okay, but I'm saying if we basing this off of, I guess what I'm trying to say is like diminishing returns, right?
Right.
If we look at, they all should get put to death. That's my mindset is. They all commit enough crimes.
I hate all of it, bro. I hate all of it. But we love a sport.
They all committed enough crimes. They all should be put to death. That's
we love a sport that's dirty. Like I don't believe there's one clean promoter. I don't believe there's one clean promoter, bro.
Well,
There's not one clean promoter.
It's like saying I don't want to say his name because but it's like saying the guy who has the mustache in Germany back in the day who did all those atrocities. If you compare him to Al Heyman versus somebody who killed 16 people, like does it really matter at that point? They all should be put to death.
I wish under perfect circumstances, I wish the sport was clean. But there's not one promoter in the history of boxing that was clean. Like it's just the way it is, bro. Like all promoters got a little bit of dirt on them, and they've all done dirt, and none of them play fair. None of them play fair. So if you want to look at it from that aspect, Like that's one of them things. Like we're in love with a sport that's dirty. Like
Yo,
when you really look at it, we in love with a sport that's dirty.
yo, and five the cat that off. Like I told you, me and Owen talk every day. Like Owen tell me some like bad stuff about Don. Like Owen said, like he's in it for the millions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's like, so Lennar just, I didn't even bring Don King into the equation. I didn't even bring Don King into the equation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it's enough to go around. It's enough to go around, but some people do it a little bigger than others. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only point I'm trying to make. But, we all want a clean and fair sport, but it's just boxing. You just not going to get it. Like, you just not going to get it. That's why we get this nonsense we got going on. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see you know what? I'll say this. I know you got to go, but this is my quick plan. This is what I would do, and that's not going to happen. But this is how you would clean the sport up. You would probably get the top three biggest countries in the sport: U.S., Mexico, and the UK. At least try to get those three. And honestly, you should do the top 10, but at least get the top three. Right? Can we agree? Can we agree on that? It's probably the three biggest countries in the sport: the UK, the U.S., and Mexico.
Mm-hmm. But
Okay,
go
you
ahead.
get those globally. You get those guys to all come into agreement and make it either they I don't know if they do a business deal between the government or whatever they do, but they do something where it's under one face, one name, whatever, and then they either they absorb all the belts, make it one belt, or just make a couple belts and keep the belts the same, and they do it like that. That's how they do it, right? So, because remember, FIFA, I believe FIFA has multiple clubs around the world, right? I don't really follow soccer too much. You guys follow soccer?
Yeah.
So I believe I don't know, but I don't know. Is it one country that owns that, or is it multiple countries that have a stake into it?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure about
That I
that.
don't know, so I can't
Yeah.
speak. But whatever it is you get the governments to step up, the biggest governments in the sport to step up, and they all have one name, one face, all that, all same regulation, and then we can make some type of streamline this process. Then we can. That's how we get it.
Hey, Lennar, you know the one problem with that, bro?
What?
They got to be government regulated. There's nobody nastier than politics and government. There's nobody shadier than politics and government, bro.
Because
It ain't happening.
if not G5, you and me can call it G5 Lennar Promotions, and we can make a business and we make our own.
Hey, bro, listen, me, you, Ty Finney, the legend, and the boxing source can go to a state and go fill out some paperwork and start a promotional company tomorrow. Source, am I lying?
You could start a whole organization
Right now.
Do that right now.
Right
Like
now.
I've been talking with folks that said that they would do an organization like the WBC or WBA or whatever. I mean, it's not like you have these smaller organizations that put money together and come up with the belt, come up with a ranking system. So you can still do the same thing.
Exactly, and that's what I'm
Anybody
saying.
can
That's the
do it.
problem. That's the exact problem we have.
I agree. But that's the thing though. The government is not regulating it because they really can't. To be honest with you, they can. If they were able to regulate it, it would have been regulated already. But
Well,
that's why they call boxing the Wild Wild West, though.
They could, but they legally could. They can get laws passed, but they're not going to do it.
Yeah, but even if they did that, bro, you still got to consider the UK. You still got to consider China, Japan. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a global sport.
For sure.
Across the
And
board. So that's what makes it.
Follow the model they did with soccer, right? Making it and do something similar to that.
I mean, it just seems like they don't want to, bro. We've been wanting this for God since we've been born. You know what I mean? It's just, they just don't want to do it. So it's just like some of this stuff we gotta deal with. But the best thing we can do as boxing fans and pundits is really bring a lot of these things to light. And that's really like the best thing we can do. So it's like you gotta tune into Ty Finney, the legend, when he's doing his interviews and things like that. You got to tune in the boxing source, one of the most knowledgeable people out here. So you got to get as much game as you possibly can and actually put a lot of this information out in the atmosphere and just let it land where it need to land. But it's just something that I don't see it ever happening as much as we want it to happen. But
Yeah,
You know,
man. You know what, G5? Let's just join the party. We're gonna call Lennar and G5 Promotions tomorrow. We're gonna go to a local
hey,
boxing gym, get a fighter we think is good, and just have promote the shit out of it.
I,
And we're gonna
you
see
know the
how.
thing that's funny, bro. You know the thing that's funny, bro. I've had a couple fighters ask me to manage them. There's no bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, but that's why it's considered the wild wild west. But that's kind of why we love it too, because it's always something to talk about. Whether it cannot be a fight for 2 months, and boxing source and I will have 2 months worth of stuff to talk about, and a
Yeah, the
fight
drama.
not
I said
happen.
the drama.
And
That's
like,
why I said the drama is kind of good at the same time because like the drama
Yeah,
and
for
football,
sure.
you can talk about
yeah.
it. You know,
Go
it
ahead,
is.
legend.
Yeah, before we jump on, I want to say something to Lenore. Like, I've interviewed fighters, bro, that like they said like when they fly to these other fighters' hometowns, like in other countries, that like everything get changed at the last minute, so they got everything against them. They got the referee against them. So I interviewed guys who said like when they got knocked down, they just stay down because it was like it's no reason for me to get up because I know I'm gonna lose anyway. So they just stay down, not because they were hurt, because they knew everything was against them. So it's like it's a lot of shady stuff, man, behind the
It's,
scenes in the sport, man.
yeah, it's nasty, bro. But we gonna end it right there, man. We are way over 2 hours and 11 minutes. Goddamn marathon and shit. A source, man. We appreciate you stopping through, man. Give them your social media and all that good stuff, brother.
Yeah, just look up the boxing source on all social media. That's all you got to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big shout out to the boxing source. Ty Finney, the legend, man. Giving you social media and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir, man. Facebook, Todd Finney, podcast in this corner, man. Like I said, just did the 36 interview, man. So like, tune in and watch that. And like I said, I'm gonna keep pushing, man, trying to get to 40.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Leonard, man, big shout out to you, bro. We back on Tuesday. If you want to jump on, I'll get at you on the IG. We get wrap.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. This was episode 19 of Throw the Hook podcast, man. On behalf of the Boxing Source, Ty Finney, the legend, everybody favorite OG Boxing First Vlog, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, man. We're gonna see y'all on Tuesday, and that's what it is, man. We're gonna see y'all Tuesday, man. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
All right.